you've got orders to PCS and move to Tyndall Air Force Base. Where should you live? Let's talk about it, guys and gals. I'm Charlie Cameron with eXp Realty. I run the Facebook community Panhandle PCS, where we help people move to and from the area and live it up while they're here. So if you need help with anything at all relating to schools or childcare, or moving itself, TMO, on-base housing, off-base housing, rentals, real estate, whatever it may be, join that group, check out the resources below, follow this channel. Happy to help you any way we can. But let's jump into this video. Bear with us. It's a bit long because there's a lot we want you to know about the area. It's very important that we make sure our military families know as much as possible about it. So let's jump into it. Okay, so the first question is, where is Tyndall Air Force Base? So here's Florida. Tyndall Air Force Base is smack dab in the middle of the Panhandle in Panama City, right next to Panama City Beach. Panama City Beach is one of the most well-known beaches in the United States. All of the Southeast tends to travel there or to Daytona to beach in the summers and spring break. So it's near Destin, which is perhaps a little bit less well known, but it's all the same Emerald Coast. So some of the most beautiful beaches in the world. You can even see the color on this map as we zoom in. Emerald Coast of Florida. So while you live here, you gotta go to the beach. I mean, people pay lots of money to come down here and do the tourism thing to Panama City Beach every year, and you're gonna live there. So that's pretty awesome. Now, one thing to note is, no, you are not near Disney World. Okay, big disappointment when I moved here too. It actually takes you just as long or even longer to go east as it does to go south down to Disney World, which is right here. So keep that in mind. It is a haul, but if you got little ones, totally worth it. If you got a little bit older ones, Universal, totally worth it to go experience that experience with them. But okay, Tyndall Air Force Base, there he is. So here's Panama City. It is by far the biggest metropolitan area to the base. Decently sized city, comes with all the pros and cons that a typical city would. Except that it also has an additional tourism aspect to it, which comes with some cool things to do for kids, especially in the off season. A lot of like Ripley's Believe It or Not, Discovery Museums, and those kind of things that you wouldn't typically have in a city of this size. Next biggest cities are probably going to be Pensacola, and then Tallahassee to the east, and then Mobile, Alabama to the west. So this is the Florida Panhandle. We are basically southern Alabama. Okay, so Tyndall Air Force Base. Here he is. Got the runways. You got all the office spaces, the commissaries. Everything's kind of clustered right here. All of this entire space here is all Tyndall. Red Horses down here. So you've got all this space around here, which is all Tyndall. Okay, so there's not a lot of homes like right next to the base. Here's Mexico Beach. Mexico Beach was basically wiped off the map when Hurricane Michael came through. It has since been somewhat rebuilt, but is a cool, hip, and St. Joe Beach kind of beach community, but it's going to be pretty pricey for military, and it's really far from everything. So all the kind of stuff to do and restaurants and things are in Panama City, downtown Panama City, Panama City Beach. Down here, there's just Mexico Beach. So not a lot of military families choose to live down here. It's also expensive because it's near the water and there's not a lot of inventory. So that leaves us with this general area. Let me zoom in here. Most military families are going to be, let me move my big old head out of the way. Military families are typically going to be somewhere on this map encompassed by this current picture. Okay, let me zoom out just a little bit. All right, this is good. Okay, so it's all going to be dependent on drive time and traffic associated with that, cost of homes, and kind of neighborhood quality in relation to military life, schools, crime, those kind of things. I can't get into specifics of those things. The only thing I'm going to tell you here is where military families choose to live and some of the whys to kind of give you an idea. So I'm gonna start closest to the base here. So here's Tyndall. You come across the bridge and you are in Callaway. So this area here is known as Callaway, city of Callaway, and down here, this is, you know what, I'm going to change this so you can see it a little better. That's a little bit easier to see. So here's Callaway. I'm going to zoom out so it's a little bit more obvious. So Callaway is this entire area right here. You do have some new build communities in the area. The huge advantage is that you're really close to the base, so there's just a ton of military families in this area. Basically, to the east of South Tyndall Parkway, there's a bunch. A lot nicer homes as you get closer to the water here. And Plantation Point's pretty nice. Point Donaldson is nice. Parker, people tend not to live on this side. As we go west, you've got the Cove. This is a very, very nice kind of hoity-toity area. The mayor lives here, right? So this is a really nice area. Bunkers Cove, the Cove. So if you can afford to live in this area, good for you. You know, there's a lot of waterfront homes. Then that's also a nice spot. You've got this whole marina area here is pretty hip. A lot of commercial stuff going on down here. A lot of restaurants, eateries, things to do. So you'll see a lot of fun stuff to do. A lot less housing. So again, mostly commercial, but there will be places you can rent and apartments, that kind of stuff down here. Okay, zooming out a little bit. So we talked about Callaway. You'll see, I'm going to change maps again so you can kind of see not much going on over here. So there's a lot of military families that live in this entire area. Not much out here. Most people don't choose to live out here. There's a few communities. The Sandy Creek, there are some military families in Sandy Creek. It is new builds, a couple phases going on. Newer builds, I should say. So people will live further out here. You're just further from the base because you've got to come all the way around. You're further from kind of the stuff to do in Panama City itself and Panama City Beach. So a lot of military families here, not in Parker. Let's switch views again. You will not see many military families in the Springfield area, nor will you see them kind of between 98, both sides of 98 here. Now you will see military families over here by the Oaks here, Oak Hill. This area is pretty nice. There's a lot of commercial development, restaurants and stuff down here. So as you kind of get close to the water and restaurants and things, there's a lot of great communities around here. Military families live at. Over here you've got Florida State University, Panama City, and Gulf Coast State College. So again, a lot of military families will live in this area. It's kind of more developed over time. So you'll see people all around here, people choosing to live in Pretty Bayou as well. Oxford, Summerford, this kind of area. It's kind of hit or miss the neighborhoods. You'll see, and this is true for all of Panama City, you'll see, mobile homes next to brand new builds and everything in between on specific streets. Now there are, neighborhoods and pockets of congruent homes where everything looks approximately the same, and then there's just kind of hit or miss, random stuff going on too. Okay, so moving right a little bit, moving east, you won't see a lot of military families kind of in this triangle here, though Cedar Crossing, Cedar Heights Grove, Magnolia Hills, some of these other neighborhoods to the east here, you'll see military families in. All throughout this area, same thing. It depends on the neighborhood, really. You'll see a lot of military families concentrated in Lynn Haven. You can see here by the map, it's just a very big grid, a lot of homes in the area, and just a really fun place to live. Really decent area, a lot of military families. So it looks further away, I understand that, but it's actually not that bad going 77 to 98. You do have to expect to sit in quite a bit more traffic. So depending on the time of day, it's going to take you, 35 to 45 minutes. But it could be worth it. Homes tend to be cheaper out here than they're going to be down here and in Callaway. You'll see people that do live across the bridge as well. Same kind of thing, but on the other side of the bridge. Kind of in this Northwood, Southport area as well. Again, you're as you get further away, your commute's racking up. But you can potentially take some back roads on 77, but you're going to be looking at getting closer to an hour as you get out here. Now, not quite an hour, but now something else to note is you see this 719 here. So if you come off the bridge from Tyndall, you come across, come into Callaway, you go across on Cherry or 3rd Street, and you hop on 719. You come all the way up. There's this area here has a lot of open land, so developers have been buying this up and developing it. There's a lot of new development going on here. So what's awesome about this is it's not that hard to get down to the base because you can just take 719 all the way down into Callaway, come across and down. So varies 25 minutes. I mean, you're not going through the city anymore. You're not on 98 or 77 or 231. So the commute may vary. It could be 35 minutes or so, depending. But the nice thing is you're going to get a lot cheaper out here and newer out here than you would down in Callaway or in any of these areas down here. So it's becoming a hot market for military families to kind of be northeast of town. Okay, so anything else we need to say about Sweetwater? Not really. So I kind of said it all. You can kind of live out in this area and still be able to commute down to Panama City pretty easily. People tend not to live much further than this, though, than 719. Now, this is Panama City Beach, actually. This is Panama City Beach. Okay, massive. Very long. Lots of cool stuff to do, especially in the off-season, so not in the 100 days of summer. But sometimes military families will live over here. Gives you access to some of those cool things to do, for sure. If you are investment-minded, and our team certainly can help you with that as a bunch of real estate investors as well. I personally own a number of short-term rentals. Some people will choose to buy down here so they can turn it into a rental after. Now, you can do that with any home, especially near a military base, turn it into a long-term rental and almost always do well. At least break even and let military tenants pay down your rent over time. That's neither here nor there. Happy to coach you on, our team is happy to coach you on building wealth over time as a military member, or as into short-term rental real estate investing. But obviously Panama City Beach has a lot of short-term rentals. So if you cross this bridge and you want to live over here, you're going to be contending with tourism traffic. They are coming in through 98, through the Hathaway Bridge. And they're going to be all up and down Thomas and 98, and Thomas becomes 30. All of this gets a ton of traffic in the summer and on holidays. So you're going to have to just live with that. It's probably not too bad to go from the lower lagoon areas and get, lower Grand Lagoon and upper Grand Lagoon areas and get across the bridge. But you're going to have traffic. A lot of this stuff in here is going to be short-term rentals. There's a lot of street dependency because, everybody wants to live near the beach. And then in Upper Grand Lagoon, you're going to have more, you got more commercial stuff over here. You've got some mobile home parks and stuff in here. But as you get closer to the water, you're going to get nicer and nicer homes. Again, there's a lot of short-term rental going on in here too. Some larger kind of condo high-rises and stuff too. So some military families choose to live here. You're getting pretty far from the base, especially during the kind of tourism seasons. It's going to take you a little bit to get across Hathaway Bridge, and then you got to ride 98 all the way in. So the people who are buying here are usually buying here for a specific purpose, normally to turn their home into short-term rentals when they're done. So I would say that's not most military families. Okay, let's review. Here's Tyndall Air Force Base. A few military families will live in Mexico Beach. A few will live in Panama City Beach. But for the most part, military families are going to be in this area right here. Focused in kind of East Callaway. You'll see some in the Cove. You'll see some kind of in by the water and commercial areas over in Eglin, Oak Hill area, by the colleges over here. All around western Panama City here, up at north into Lynn Haven, and even sometimes spilling into Southport. And then in neighborhoods all through here, a couple neighborhoods in this triangle, but for the most part not here. Maybe Cedar, Magnolia Hills definitely. You won't see many kind of in this Springfield area or kind of south of the center of Panama City. You won't see many in Parker either. You will see quite a few, and this is a growing area in the Glen Haven area, as more and more new build subdivisions are being built. So in a nutshell, that's where military families choose to live in the area. I hope that was hugely helpful to you, but that's just where the help starts. Go ahead and join our Facebook community. Use that QR code, and that way you can join with other military families across the Panhandle to collaborate, learn about PCSing to and from the area, and living it up while you're here. We got all sorts of information on jobs, childcare, you name it, it's in there, and you can ask and express your concerns and questions and learn from the other military families and have some instant friends when you show up. Now, if this was helpful to you, we could help other military families more if you like and subscribe. So please do that, and I'll see you next time.